everybody. Today I have Mrs. Donahue here with me. It's Wednesday, March 25th, and it looks like the weather is going to be a high of about 48 today, but there may be some showers, so keep that in mind. I'd like to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. You can join with me at home if you want. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I asked Mrs. Donahue to join me today because I wanted to try and emphasize that there's a lot of different ways that you can still greet people. And some of them might be, more appropriate so that we don't spread this disease. One of the ones I like is the fake high five. You ready?
Ready.
Then there's also a distance hug, which I may not do with Mrs. Donahue, but. And finally, the elbow touch. So you can always do that. While you're home in your remote learning environment, you can always try and come up with some of your own, and then when you come back, you can share those with us. It might be kind of fun to see who can be the most creative. Now, while you're home, Mrs. Donahue, it's easy to kind of fall into some bad habits. I know my kids are already starting to do it. Maybe you can talk a little bit for us today about, and Mrs. Hires and you prepared some daily schedules, but maybe you can talk a little bit about the importance of a daily schedule.
Sure. So hopefully everybody saw the schedules that came home. There was one for preschool through second graders and a different one for grades 3 through 5. The most important thing right now is that the Monday through Friday routine should look different than the weekend routine. So if you do nothing else, that's our biggest recommendation, is to keep Monday through Friday looking somewhat different, or a lot different than the weekend. So it still should be a school routine that includes wake up time and going to bed time should be similar to how you would operate as a family during the school week. But school is routine for kids, so when they're here, there's a routine, there's a structure, there's one thing after the next, and they're very used to that. And in general, schedule provides predictability, and predictability provides security for children and young people. So my biggest recommendation right now is that Monday through Friday look like a school routine, different than the weekends, and then we encourage you to follow the schedules we sent home if you don't know how to create your own, and to make that schedule visible in the house somewhere, in your apartment or your house or where you live, so that the children can see that you are committed to a schedule and a routine during the school week.
Those are some excellent points. I'm pretty sure now we're into Wednesday, and packets went home last Wednesday. Kids may have or may not have started on them. Do you have any advice for the parents when you get some resistance from the children about doing their work?
Sure. I think the biggest thing I suggest is to blame it on the school. I think that
yeah, thanks.
These kids love their teachers, and you can say Miss so-and-so or Mr. so-and-so said that this is what we should be doing during the school week. I'm following the directions of the school, but it's completely reasonable to put it onto the teachers in the school as the expectations that we've put on to you all as parents and caregivers. That's okay to do, because that's how this is all working. I know as a parent, that's what I'm doing at home. I'm homeschooling my kids as well, and I'm saying, your teachers told us to do this and to follow this, and so I do put it back on the teachers and the school in a supportive way as well. And that includes following the routine of the school day with specials as well. So I think you can diversify the day with specific free time and specific specials time and specific academic time. So it doesn't have to all just be sitting down and doing the packets in one go, but really to vary how the day goes, because that's how a school day looks for children.
Excellent. I'm just wondering, is there any other big ideas you wanted to pass out to all the people watching?
I think that, feel free to contact the school staff by email, whether that's the classroom teacher or myself or Ms. Hires, somebody that you feel can support you during this time. There's huge empathy from us to parents out there, and caregivers trying to do this big work and maintain a job. So please reach out to the school by email if you have questions, and also have specific places in your home that are for, we call them in school recovery spots, so places for all of us to go separate from each other when we're having big emotions about all of this, whether it's sadness or anger or frustration or stress. We want to try to create the commonplace in the home as sort of the happy, grounded place where we're all getting along. But if we need to step away, which we all will, to have those meltdowns, we want to do them in separate locations so that the communal space is where we're all working hard and we're calm and we're getting along. So those are my recommendations.
I really like that idea about the calming space. I think, when you're all together all the time, sometimes you need that calming place to go to. Which leads us nicely into our next topic, which is Second Step. And I actually had picked Fairways to Play to talk about with you because I thought that might be a good fit because siblings at home might be starting to get on each other's nerves and might need some extra advice on fair ways to play in terms of sharing and taking turns with different things. Maybe it's the technology.
Right. So back to the schedule, on the schedules you'll see there's free time, and sometimes the free time says no technology, and then there's other times that it is free time with technology, obviously age appropriate. But anyway, anytime we're going into free play time, particularly with younger children, it's always important to frame that, to set expectations even before free time. So, and the younger the child, the fewer the choices. So with a 5-year-old, I might say, so you have free time now, and set a timer. Here's 2 things you can choose to do, Legos or blocks, for example. So 2 choices, and set up the expectations, make reference to Second Step of fair ways to play and sharing. Use the word Second Step. Remember your Second Step skills that your teachers have taught you. But in general, even with free time, during this uncertain time, I would still set expectations for kids and young people. And they can feel free to play as long as the play sounds happy, is what I would say.
That's really good advice. Thanks. Speaking of play, I had some ideas about if it's rainy, too rainy. I know it's okay to go outside and get a little bit wet, but if it turns out to be a little bit too rainy, you can always go to Go Noodle. I know it involves technology, but it's in a good way. And I'm sure Mr. Fecto sent home some activities in his PE packet that you can do. And I was just thinking you could also either walk or jog in place. You could maybe do a dance game if you have one of those. But and just about anything really. Kind of be creative. But my little bit of advice is don't break anything.
Oh, good point, Mr. Bogio.
I would not be throwing things. Of course, my favorite pastime is reading, and I have my book. This book I started last summer and I wasn't able to finish it. It's called Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and it's a long story about a whale. And so I've only started this book and I'm going to try and get into it. I know you all have your at least 6 year of the book giveaway books at home. You can always read those again. And Mrs. Donahue, I'm wondering, are you reading anything while you have a little bit of extra time?
Well, I'm supposed to be starting a new book club book.
Oh.
The name has escaped me.
Oh,
but
boy.
my book club's going to be meeting on Zoom on, I think it's April 6th, Monday evening. So we're all preparing to do that together. And then we're also doing a read aloud as a family, which is something that we haven't done in forever. We tend to read aloud in pairs rather than as a big group. So we're doing a read aloud as a family, and then I'm doing a separate read aloud with each child. So
Oh, that's a great
there's lots
idea.
of reading happening.
I like that idea. So just the last general announcement for today is that on Monday, the 23rd, the breakfast and the lunches started to be delivered. If you'd like to get on that list and you didn't get one, you can either email me at jbogio@hnhsd.org or call the school. My extension is 7602. And that's open to all people under the age of 18 in town. So I want to thank Mrs. Donahue for coming in today, and it's been a real pleasure, and I hope everybody enjoyed the video.